What makes Hudson feel like home to me is I don't leave my property on my days off, and I just sort of walk outside when it's warm enough. You don't get that feeling in large, major metropolitan areas. I've been living here since 2011, when my wife, Jory, and I moved up here from New York City.
I didn't really know anybody here. Once I settled here, I met such an incredible density of creative people.
It's amazing how quickly we sort of found ourselves a part of this community.
And it's kind of nice that we have neighbors and also fellow compadres in the same business where we can exchange notes and understand each other.
So Hudson's really interesting because it's kind of central to the Hudson River School of Painters. They put American painting on the map. So there's this long history of art in the Hudson Valley. It's an old town. It was slated to be the capital of New York at one point. There's a lot of beautiful old architecture, houses that were built in the 1700s.
There was no regulation to the building for years. And so between the boom of the whaling enterprise, and then that went bust, the boom of the agricultural enterprise, and that went bust, and the boom of manufacturing enterprises, and that went bust, you see all these different periods of architecture in this small town. So there's this sort of rich, condensed quality to the town.
I really love the people who come here and are not looking necessarily for an investment property. I have a bit of an allergic reaction to that. The thing that makes a place precious is the communication. And communication is people who come in to contribute, come in to get to know each other, come in to bring a service here, bring something special, bring something of their own. And we see all these people coming with great ideas and really investing themselves into the detail.
So, right? Timing.
We couldn't really afford an architect, so we kind of did it all ourselves.
Wow.
Hi, I'm Shannon Greer. This is Charlotta Jansen.
And we are the Hudson Milliner.
It's been great just being able to provide beautiful hotel rooms for people.
We thought that, someone coming from the city really, really needs space, needs light, and needs privacy. It looked very different when we got here. It had great bones. It has an amazing amount of solid mahogany doors, for instance, and these glass doors that are really preserved. The glass is preserved.
It once was a milliner and serviced the town for years.
And many people told us that they came here for their Easter bonnets.
We wanted to preserve those parts that felt like Hudson and get rid of all the more modern parts. Just like the smell of old books. I love the smell of this old house.
Yeah.
Like I walk in and I can smell the age of the place. And somehow that's really comforting.
When I was working in the city in 2004, we started coming up on the weekends and started visiting these farm stands. So it just was turned on like, oh shit, man, the food here is great. My name is Zachary Palacio. I am an owner of Fishing Game Restaurant in Hudson, New York. Speaking for myself, the reason I'm up here and I decided to do it is because we wanted to connect more with the source of the food that we eat. When we opened, we were really sorting through things more aggressively than we do now because we, over time, sort of started to get a sense of the seasons, and living up here and feeling it has allowed us to work with the local products and have a little more control over the menu. If you focus on buying locally and you focus on the Hudson Valley, there are farmers really doing great stuff.
Almost everything on this table comes from within 100 miles from here. Yeah. That's incredible.
Fishing Game was built as the carriage house for a building on the corner. In a town where there are a lot of beautiful buildings, it still stands out. Our idea was to make it feel like you're coming into our home, into a place where you're involved in the machinations of the actual commercial enterprise, which is the restaurant. Fishing Game is really a home to us because we spend more time there than we do at our actual home. We built it knowing that we had to build it in a way where we felt good spending time there.
When I came here, I was actually trying to find a space in Brooklyn and just couldn't find what I was looking for. And somebody said, check out this warehouse building in Hudson, you'll love it. I'm originally from the Bay Area, from California, and have been in the Hudson Valley for about 10 years. I make mostly large, abstract metal sculptures. My passion is to make public work and think about things on an architectural scale. Just some place where people can go and they can step outside of the regular day-to-day of their life. Because I work with metal, I work with a lot of machines, like a Bridgeport milling machine and these kind of classic American machines. So I have like an ear to American industry to a certain extent. So I wanted to kind of speak to the people that work in that industry and also the legacy of America to make like handmade, crafted products, quality products. I'm at home when I'm working, when I'm in my studio. I spend a lot of time in processing the pieces that I make. There's hours and hours and hours of welding. And for me, that process often becomes kind of a meditation, a time where I can reflect on my own personal experiences.
Hudson represented the new frontier, right? It's like you can be a pioneer.
The thing that I find most often is people not saying like, how can I make life a little bit better? It's people that come here because they have an idea of what the ideal life would be, and they come here to let this be a place of like working towards the ideal.
You can imagine what your life would be like.